spans. So we sit in the shade. Way too hot at the moment for working in the sun. So fortunately now they've got the bulkhead done, I can be fairly sure that it's not going to fall to pieces at the front here, so that's all great. So what it means now is that we can start to tackle the lovely sills. Now, if you remember from looking at previous episodes on this subject, this sill is particularly bad. The other one doesn't look too bad, but probably is. So let me just show you a little bit about what we're trying to do in this part. Okay, so I've got my bracing in position. I haven't lined up the shell on the bolt holes just at the moment. I'll do that a bit later when I start worrying about the floor. But really job number one is to start getting this sill out of the way. Now it looks as though around here there's just a welded seam. I'm not sure if it's brazed or not. This bottom part doesn't look particularly clever either. But again, I'm probably just going to leave that there as a datum point whilst I fit the sill, as that seems to have quite a crucial role. The inside in here, this part's for the door, bottom of the door hinge, which you can see in there, and actually looks surprisingly good. So you know, we'll have to see how good when we start setting a grinder to it. But as you can see, the rest of the sill is knackered, so that's not so great. There is this. Oh, I'm getting under there. No, I can't get in under there. So the bottom of the B pillar, again, it doesn't look too bad at the moment, but we'll have to see. It could be cleaned up well, or maybe not. It looks like, again, it's just got a little seam weld either side here to actually hold it in position. Can't feel anything under there at all. And that goes around to the inside, and I suspect there might be a spot weld or two in there. Look, there's one of the rivets that was very important in holding the floor together. So then there should be a lip along the whole of this edge which the floor pan should sit on, but there isn't much floor plan left. So the other thing we've got to do is look at the rear part of the sill here. The reason for that is because of this horrible mess down here. So really, we've got to pick an end, I think, here to see what we can do first. I'd rather sort of get on with doing a part of it at a time before cutting the whole thing out. So I think what I'm probably going to do to kick off matters here is to stick a slice down through here, so that I can get in and repair this back bit, so that would then be a good spot for us to weld the sill back to. So I think I'm probably going to do that next, and then we can start peeling the front end of it off as well, which will involve cutting through all of these little seams, and then we'll find out how good all of this stuff is. But old Mr. Z-Bart might have done us a favour here and actually saved some of these bits from too much damage. We'll see. Okay. So we've cut a bit of the sill off. You can see where the old Z-Bart plug has allowed the black stuff all has gone all over the place. Yeah, with some success, but not a whole lot. If you can see down there, you can see where the black spots are from where the spray stuff's gone in there. It just didn't, you know, it all landed on the bottom, which is probably where you want it most, but it didn't help all that much. So this is the inner skin of the sill panel. Looks like there's a couple of spot welds just barely hanging in there, so I'm going to drill those out, and then hopefully we can peel that part off. Right. Make sure I don't go through 2 panels. Just in case the one behind it's worth saving. You never know until you get there. That's one. Yep, that was one. Once upon a time, there's a little line of gunk which we need to get out. It's the top there, and it's just the, you can see that, the seam sealer. Yeah, look at all that behind there, look. Yeah, that looks nice. There's my big orange. Tough old stuff this. Look at that, look. Probably the only thing that's holding this car together. Stubborn bit of seam sealer. Don't lever it too much because this metal is so thin, you haven't really got much to lever against. Ow! That is why we wear gloves. Vicious bastard. I think there's another one in there somewhere. I think that might be one there. Doesn't take much to get it out. Crispy cakes. 3 spot welds here by the looks of it. There we go. Nice. So, it wasn't terribly hard to get off, but what has that left us with? Oh. Okay. The answer is not a lot. This all looks like it's going to be rotten as well then. Well, I suppose that's no surprise. So, I suppose that if that's not too bad, then, you know, maybe I can get away with just repairing the flat part. Clearly we're going to have to get into it to find out. Oh, this stuff's hard. Better than welding. Ow, ow. Brown flakes. Very healthy. Right, we're going to have to get in here. Rotten around guess we'll find out. Certainly sounds a bit gravelly, doesn't it? Yep, she's got a hole. A great surprise, I suppose. Right, let's pack this bit off. Big reveal, and the news is the bottom's gone as well. You gotta love these cars. Oh, that's just great. Okay, there we are, look. That. I think there's things living in there. Get a torch. Any restoration job you're doing, this is what you're up against. Somebody's left a nice washer in there. I can see a nice shiny washer. Most of it doesn't look that bad. There's a bit of rot in there. Obviously this piece here is gone. I think we need to clean that up a bit, see where that bit goes, and then work out whether the rest of it's rotten as well. I think I'm going to turn the camera off now and have a good old dig around. I'll be back. So, we've got most of the sill cut off. The rear part of the sill came off with the floor, which is nice. I've just sawed through this last bit, so didn't take much doing, did it? Look at that. So now you see the purpose of having the bars in, really, is to make sure that none of this is going to go anywhere whilst we're working out what we're doing. That is really bank. So is clean up the front part where the A post joins. I've started a little bit of cleaning up around the B post part here. I'm not sure if this piece is going to go or not yet. I just need to give it a bit more of a clean and see what we got. Okay. So I've got the rest of the sill part off. So now you can see what we've got remaining at the bottom of the B post. It's actually not too bad. I think I'm going to clean this up and just see what it's like. There's a bit of pitting in it, but at least it's a fairly chunky bit of steel, unlike some of the other bits. So hopefully that's going to clean up. Let's give it a go. This is always the most fun part of the whole business of getting a car together and sorting the sills out. So let me show you where I am. So we ain't finished by a long chalk. But we do at least have now the sill somewhat in the right kind of place. There's lots more fettling required around this area. This seems to be the most complicated bit to get right. So I'm going to take my time around that bit. I had started to put a seam in here to weld back to, but I think I'm going to have to probably come back to that again. And obviously there's some other rot going on the top here, there's some other rot going around the back, and there's some other rot coming up from the bottom. So yeah, there's quite a bit to do there, but if I can just get this bit right so that the sill can attach to that part, then at least we've got a little bit of strength back in that. And then obviously I need the C-pillar to come down as well and attach to this, so that can all be welded up and provide some strength back into the whole thing. As you can see by this little mark here, the only way I could get the thing to seemingly line up properly was to take a little tiny bit off the front here, and then you can see that that's managed to shuffle it all along into the right place. So the purple marks are the original ones, the original marks where I put it on to start with, and it just didn't work. But I've now got the back wing out, and I put that on, so now this now lines perfectly up with the hole for the bottom of the wing there, so that's all good. This bit now appears to be in all the right places as well. So I think we're all pretty good there. So tomorrow is going to be more fettling of edges before we can start doing a bit of welding. Okay, so let me just give you a quick update. I have spent way too much time lining all of this stuff up around this post. This is definitely going to be the tricky bit if you're planning on doing this job. So allow some extra time to have a really good look at the drawings. So I put a new plate in here behind this part. I've actually put it I've left a lip on the side there, and then I put this piece over the top. By the time I've ground and finished that bit off, you won't see that there's a seam in there. So getting this bit straight using my straightness tool has been quite a challenge, and I've had to sort of shuffle the whole of the sill forwards a bit in order to get that bit in there, because this curve shape here where this bit comes down, this curve shape meets it. This hole has to line up with the other holes for the rear wing to attach, so I've checked all of that. So yeah, now it all works. And also when I first tried it, the front wing bolt didn't fit in the right spot either. So yeah, it's all been a bit of farting around really. So now that I've got that in place all the way down, now I can try the floor and see how that works with everything else. Oh, and I've stuck a little patch in down there as well to support the outside of the floor. Need to tidy that up too. Okay, just been doing a bit of lining up. So the sill is now tacked into place, just in a couple of spots, just so we've got some idea of where everything should line up. Now, I put the floor in, just putting a couple of bolts into the floor, just to check the alignment. It seems pretty good, apart from that one at the back there, doesn't seem to quite line up, about 1/4 inch out. The seatbelt mounting is quite important because that actually lines up with the sill and with the floor, so you've got to make sure that that all lines up. And then we've got to make sure that that hole lines up in the floor with the bulkhead as well, and that's not currently working too well, so we need to have a fiddle with that too. But slotting the door back in, I tried the front door as well, but I can't hold that on and hold the camera at the same time. So that seems pretty good to me. It lines up exactly where it did before. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. So yeah, I think we can get on now to making sure that the floor is slightly more secure. Then we can think about getting some spots into that before we start working on the other side. Okay.